Dobro jutro, Your Excellencies, representatives of the government, of the diplomatic corps, dear Robert. Thank you, dear Robert, for gathering us today again as a good tradition for some strategic reflections on the upcoming year. This is so important. And we've heard from the distinguished speakers before me how the world, and particularly Serbia, will look like in 2024. So allow me to add just a couple of more strokes to this picture. Recently, we marked the 34th anniversary of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. As you know, this is the most widely ratified human rights treaty in the world, with almost all the states committed to it. However, the world nowadays, compared to the world in 1989, presents greater threats to child's rights. In fact, UNICEF estimates that 400 million children are living in or fleeing from war zones. Nearly 600 million children are not meeting minimum reading standards. And 1.2 billion children, which is half of the children population in the world, live in multidimensional poverty. Today, children are living in a world that is increasingly hostile to their rights. So, where is Serbia on this map? Serbia is an upper middle income country committed to join the European Union. And I also spent the previous week in Brussels, like Ambassador Hill, supporting the participation of brilliant young Serbian women in the EU Western Balkan Summit. There was one message that has been clearly articulated and that ran as a golden thread through all my meetings with the European partners. Economic growth is not possible without human capital development. And I'm glad to see this reflected to the announcement of the growth plan also. Human capital development starts in the earliest years of every one human being. And Serbia has demonstrated over the years commendable progress in some areas. And I would like to highlight just three of them. The ones who, according to UNICEF, contribute to building resilient communities as a foundation for sustained economic growth. The first one is the early childhood development. Serbia has institutionalized and scaled up parenting programs, empowering some 30,000 caregivers only this year. Strengthening essential services in primary health care, like home visiting and pediatric care, preschool and social welfare, has been accompanied by new local budget allocations exceeding €500,000 in 29 municipalities. The economic argument for this is clear. Investing in early childhood interventions, in fact, yields returns averaging 4 to 5 times the initial investment. Nevertheless, the challenges persist. In 1 in 3 children at this age experiencing violent disciplining at home, and vulnerable children, particularly those living in poverty, Roma children, and the ones with disabilities, not being able to reach their potential. The foundation has been built, and we should continue investments in early childhood development to ensure that these children can integrate into the society and later join the labor force. The second one is the early childhood education. Serbia's reform in preschool education deserves recognition. All children attending preschool education now learn through play and establish a critical foundation for lifelong learning due to the new preschool curriculum framework. The financial support, especially the loan from the World Bank, that also the Minister of Education mentioned, was crucial for building the physical capacities and training the teachers. This increased the access to early learning, including for children from vulnerable groups. This is an important step for reducing inequalities and including children in the education system, preparing them for the next stage, building the skills. Now is the time to stabilize these first results and to ensure the smooth transition process from preschool to primary school. Ensuring universal access to every child to high-quality education is a precondition for building strong labor force for economic growth. The third point that I want to highlight is the mental health initiative in Serbia. Serbia has recognized that a resilient community is the backbone of the peaceful and productive society. Due to strong political will, Serbia is actively advancing efforts to promote mental health and psychological well-being among children and adolescents. An important milestone was signing of a comprehensive memorandum of understanding between the 6 ministers, and you've heard Professor Slavica Đukić-Dejanović mention this. This landmark document integrates mental health considerations into health, social welfare, child protection, and education sectors. The first step has been done. Now is the time to translate these political commitments into actions. We look forward for the establishment of the high-level working group that will develop action plan with secured financing and oversee the implementation. This strategic approach can ensure that the momentum generated by political support is translated into practical improvements in mental health services for young people. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that national prosperity is created, it is not inherited. The adolescents of 2030 are now in their early childhood. They're just on the threshold of joining the primary school. Early childhood development is undeniable political, economic, social, and moral issue of our time, because it is the most effective way to build the human capital we need. Increasing the investments, the political will, and the capacity we need to expand support for parenting, child development in early years, equitable access to quality preschool programs, and mental health, this is the way forward. It is vital to recognize that these are instrumental in building resilient communities, a prerequisite for human capital development and sustainable economic growth. We know that the world is going to continue to change and put forward new challenges ahead of us. So if we look beyond 2024 and go to 2050, we might ask ourselves how we can best prepare our children to be ready for the challenges ahead. And here I would like to quote one of my favorite authors and thinkers of today, Yuval Noah Harari, who said, "Most important of all will be the ability to deal with change, to learn new things, and to preserve our mental balance in unfamiliar situations." Let's hope that we will have this in 2024. Thank you.